Yeah, then you'll just simply switch it over to you, I guess. You can quickly do that without any trouble at all.
Okay, let's see if I've got mine running now. Should be coming up once the delay has sorted itself out. Just try log into your Skype, or try to. I'm gonna see if mine works now.
Let's see now, let's see, quickly sort this stuff out. Oh, it wants to update. Oh yeah, it's forcing the update through. Oh well. And the match is up and going as well right now. It'll take a while for everyone to load in, so we've got plenty of time still.
Okie dokie, yep, waiting for fpre and camelius to load in. Might lose a little bit of the early game sort of setup whilst we just iron out those last couple of issues. But that's always the way, isn't it?
Definitely the case was the same last week as well. So you're now keeping a tradition going, sort of.
Yep, let's have a tradition of just try to get the leagues to run without a problem, and then finally, you know, when it comes to the final game, then you'll probably get a fully functioning stream.
Oh yeah, man. I think it should be good now though, maybe, hopefully. HMS is checking, double checking this all right now. Yeah, let's see, we do have still some waiting to go. Camelius has passed it up right now. And yeah, they are up and running right now, man.
There we go. Right. And I've got mine up and running as well, in case anybody wants to try it from my end.
Man.
There we go. Right.
Yeah, and this map generation, there is a line of sand going through the middle of the map. Which team will be affected by that? Yeah, it doesn't really. Yeah, it splits the teams in half. Team 1 has one side of the oasis, team 2 has the other one.
Yep. Rightio. Right, let's get started.
Could be that you can't be heard right now for some weird reason, really. Not sure why, man.
Very weird. Very weird indeed. Right, I'm gonna try and get onto Skype.
Hey, can you speak right now? I think I maybe have gotten the problem solved.
Hello. Hello, hello. Does that fix it?
Yeah, so I can't hear you right now if I change that, but maybe like you can hear them.
No chaff sound. That's very strange. Yeah, I can hear you, and I can hear the stream. So I haven't changed any settings on my Discord or my OBS since the last time.
Okay, I'm gonna quickly go and again try this out. I think I might have the problem in sight. Okay, this maybe will help it to know, like I will need someone to like say it in the chat if it's bad, if it's not. Can you be heard now, man?
HMS is saying Discord does this. Oh, well. Oh, god damn it, Discord.
Yeah, well, that's no good. That is no good at all right now. Yeah, Chris is playing as a Ptolemies. I think we have like 6 Britons and 2 Ptolemies right now. Which is a very well... not the, you know, biggest variety of civilizations right now at all.
Yeah, and 2 Ptolemies on Team 2 as well. So Team 1 is just all in Britons. Team 2... going for a couple of Ptolemies players, probably going to try and get control of the Oasis via a couple of docks and maybe some early warships.
Could be the case right now too. We will see if anyone is phasing up early, and if they do that, well, oh, there it is, Boudica is already going towards the middle. There's some slingers to try and get a dock up.
Yep, well, given that docks can act as a storage point for resources, it makes sense to build one early on in the game, because you can just move most of your early wood towards the Oasis, and the more you get from the Oasis before, you know, the real fights start kicking out, the more you've secured for your team, because if you get pushed out of the Oasis, at least then you've recovered some resources from it.
Yeah, definitely. Another mistake Boudica could possibly make is not scouting the middle of the Oasis and making the warship without even realizing that it won't be able to deny any of the map control for the enemies. That could be a pretty expensive mistake in the end. So we'll see if he does actually end up doing that.
Okie dokie. Aside from that, build order for most of the team seems fairly standard. I know Boudica went for more early units to get that dock secured.
Yeah, definitely. And he can phase up right now, which is exactly what he is doing. And oh, but yeah, he hasn't scouted the middle of the map. He's just slightly missing the line of sand right there. So this might be an expensive, you know, scouting mistake right now. Might put them back quite a bit right there, because Boudica will be behind in economy due to the early warship that he will be pumping out.
Yeah. And we can see that Camelius has already got some raiding cavalry heading south over to chrstgtr. But he's decided to stop and just try and pick off a couple of women near Borg's TC, but Borg has decided to retaliate. Wow, and he's sent almost 20 units. Oh, wow, that is pretty harsh early attack there. And he's going to force Camelius off of his wood line.
Oh yeah, definitely. And slingers, they are a strong unit, they can deal a lot of damage. Yeah, they are right now just trying to raid each other's base. Like Camelius definitely can't take this battle against the slingers, which he probably won't do.
Yeah, it looks like they're gonna pull off, but Borg is gonna carry on patrolling around Camelius's base looking for some easy engagements. And with his massive troops there, it's gonna be a lot easier for him than it is for Camelius to pick out those crucial fights and get an economic advantage from these raids.
Camelius has made some more slingers as well, so he should be able to try and start defending against this attack. He will have just enough units to try and get the defense rolling. Yeah, he's backing up right now, and he should have the units to try and defend this, but he actually won't pick the fight now.
And in the meantime, we've got Boudica has got the first warship out on the Oasis, and oh, they don't have quite the vision to notice fpre's docks, but they're moving down. Looks like they're going to spot the docks just as it goes up. Can they deny some control of those docks?
Oh, that is so close right there. The dock is up, and there might be a battle for naval control right now. But Boudica is making some more ships. Yeah, he doesn't want fpre to gain control right now.
On the opposite sides of the map, we also have Unknown Player and Legendz have both decided to creep forward with houses and get a barracks up on that wood line, opting instead of going for a docks to just put their unit production as close to the wood line as possible and just try and work their way inwards. But given the double boats from Boudica, it looks like, and as well as they've committed quite a few troops from their actual wood line down to capture that dock, it looks like fpre is going to get denied.
Yeah, that is an expensive, you know, again, pushback right there. Boudica will have another dock. And yeah, right now fpre will definitely not be getting any wire control rolling right there.
And on the other side of the map, we've got Camelius and Borg are still fighting at it, but it looks like Borg's coming out on top. He has a very slight population lead, and his army is slightly bigger than Camelius's. It looks like they're going to have a fight there. Just trade a couple of sling rocks, but Camelius isn't coming out on top of those fights.
Yeah, he's definitely quite outnumbered, though he will try and pick off some of the spearmen which go too far ahead and aren't defended by the covering fire of the other slingers from Borg's side. And though Camelius is still losing a few units right there unnecessarily.
Yeah, I think he needs to just call off that engagement because it doesn't look like he's going to make any ground with it. He's going to try and get a couple of rocks in, and yeah, he doesn't even manage to do much damage to the war dogs, so yeah, there's a lost engagement there. But it's not a big loss, and his team does currently have control over the water of the Oasis. And Boudica's getting another dock up in the middle there, so they're going to have control of both sides, which could be massive for the wood control as the game goes on.
Yeah, Boudica is really investing a lot of resources in controlling the middle. He's already spent 900 on all 3 of those battleships, and he's about to spend even more. on a new battleship right there. So that is a big investment. We'll have to see if it will end up paying off.
Yeah, we'll see if it pays off. In the meantime, I'm just going to do a quick pop count. Got unknown player who's going for a quite safe boom here for the time being, up to almost 80 population now. Camelius is stuck around 45 with those fights with Borg. Boudica's up to 60 with not a sec. There doesn't yet. Barracks has just gone down, so should keep that population climbing. Lagos is up to 65 and is mostly staying within their base. Got a dock up on the Oasis going up now. Borg's now on 60, so he is winning that trade against Camelius, but it looks like he's gone back to stone mining for the time being. chrstgtr up to 100 population, so the real economic powerhouse of this game is one of the Ptolemies players. Legendz up to 93 as well, and fpre up to 60. So I think it looks like Team 2 has a slight population advantage over Team 1, but they've suffered in map control to attain it. What's your sort of opinion of this? Do you think the population advantage will win out in the end?
Now they've got to use the population advantage early on, because the longer the game drags on, the more the lack of fire control will start hurting. So Legendz could soon attain it as well. He has the slingers and he also has his own dock. He only needs to phase up and start pumping out the warships. And Boudica does have, actually he doesn't have even any of the warship armor upgrades, so the warships aren't as strong as they could possibly be.
Yeah, I think it looks for Team 2, the only player who's managed to get to Tier 2 so far is fpre, who did go for that early dock and was denied it. So what are they going to do with that Tier 2? They might try and transition into an early Tier 3. They have started mining metal, but the Ptolemies do need that to train some of their citizen troops.
But I do find it quite weird that he's mining stone instead of metal, because the Ptolemies do have these skirmishes which cost, well, metal instead of, some food. But he might also be wanting to train the slingers, which do cost stone, so that might be the idea what he's going for. Train, like the pikemen from the civic center and slingers from the barracks. That should be a very strong combo.
In the meantime, so both sides kind of opting to just try and build up their economies now. Team 2's not really interested in contesting the Oasis. I think they lost such an early battle there for the Oasis that they've decided to just hold on for the time being and just build up, maybe try and get that economic lead to push them maybe to a Tier 3. We might see a fort go up near the Oasis that could help them wrest control back.
They're definitely getting a fortress up near the wire. Could be quite game-changing though again. It could also be very risky. If one of the Ptolemies players does have a catapult ship out, the catapult ship could also take down the fortress. So it's a risky move, but it could pay off possibly.
Yeah, I think if Team 2 does manage to get some water control and they get those Ptolemies catapult ships out, then Team 1's going to have a real hard time with 4 Britons players. They're not going to be able to contest the water anymore. With one heavy warship out, and the Britons are just going to lose all water control. Their ships just aren't able to stand up to anything that powerful.
Definitely. Yeah, audio-wise it still seems to be pretty bad. Like, you can't be heard, man, so that is not good at all. I am not sure what's causing it, because it was fine in the taste.
Yeah, I know. That is a real shame. But I've got my stream running, I've got a recording running, and I should be able to pick you up. So, if people want to watch a post-game with some extra commentary, I'll put that up later. But I don't see a way that I can fix this.
If it's fine on your side, I think, like, posting your Twitch channel and my side should all be fine as well, so they go over to you. It should all be good then.
Rightio.
Camelius has also finally gotten access to the wood near the Oasis. Like, he is getting a tower near Borg, and Borg does go an outpost right there, right on the edge of his territory, just to be safe, to know if any attacks are coming. He's also going to make a tower or some other protection from any attacks.
Indeed. Bit of a development from all the players now. All of them are starting to expand towards that wood line. Yeah, everybody started to chop on the Oasis center. So they're gonna have to start, you know, butting heads with each other soon enough. Especially with Boudica's ships patrolling that coastline. If they get too close, they're gonna start losing some of those woodcutters.
Yeah, definitely. Unknown players' population is also looking pretty good. I think it will be a big fight between Unknown Player and chrstgtr later on in the match, because they are the two powerhouses of economy, and Borg and Camelius have slowed down each other quite a bit in their early battles, so they will simply be the supporting forces in those fights there.
Yep, and just taking a look through most of the teams, it looks like Legendz is the only one that's teched up for map vision with his team. So Legendz is the first player to get a full idea of how the map looks. So with that information, he can start informing his team, letting his team know how to best tackle this early water lead that Team 1's got.
Yeah, he is making a pretty big mistake right here, trying to fight against the ships with only slingers. He lost a lot of units there. Quite unnecessarily, he should have simply moved his storehouses off the side somewhere, where there are more trees which aren't too close to the wire. Would have been the proper way to approach that. Well, it's a mistake he learned the hard way right now, and he probably won't do that again.
Yeah, and the worst thing about it is, if you let that ship get away, those guys, those slingers there on Boudica's ship are just going to disembark and just repair it straight back to full health. So he gained nothing out of that fight. Absolutely nothing. That's very, very disheartening for him, I'm sure.
Yeah, it did. Actually, just slightly increased the lead which Team 1 has over Team 2. Which is about 20 units right now, so it's not too big. It was much more even before this attack. But yeah, at least Legendz towers are in range of the ships, so they will protect his woodline quite well right now. And yeah, that ship from Boudica is losing hit points quite quickly, and he needs to bring it back to safety.
Okay, so we're seeing a temple go up from Chrst. We might be seeing a tier 3 go up from him straight after that's finished. Looks like he's got the resources for it. He's got over 2,000 metal and almost 2,000 stone. So I think we're going to see Chrst as probably one of the first players to go to tier 3. And a fortress up on that Oasis line looks pretty damn good against the Britons.
Yeah, definitely. He does have almost 5,000 food spare right now too, which isn't good at all, man. He needs to probably like either send it off to some of his allies or barter it in, but yeah, he doesn't even have a market to do that right now. So he's floating a lot of resources right now, which isn't something you want to do.
Okay, and we're seeing Unknown Player and Boudica are sending Camelius a lot of resources, probably to try and get him. Oh, he's just taking up to town phase, so phase 2. Looks like he was a little behind, committed maybe just a bit too much to those fights against Borg. And Borg is not a player you want to try and commit early fights against. His micro is certainly top notch.
And I think Camelius also wants to upgrade his sentry towers up to defense towers, so he can feel just that little bit more safe, knowing that an attack might be coming, but he will still be able to defend it because the defense towers are just so much better than the sentry towers.
And on the opposite side, it looks like you're right. The other big player in terms of economy is indeed Unknown Player, and he is just about to finish tier 3. So, yep, and whilst Chrst can go for tier 3, he's opted not to. He's still building up his population count, and he's soon going to max out at 200. He's only 10 population off that max cap.
And meanwhile, Borg has reached phase 3 as well, so he has definitely been moving quite well, though his population isn't too high. His population is still looking almost as good, actually a bit better than Camelius's, and he still is ahead, like phase-wise, and he wasn't even being fed out too much. He was definitely taking better fights early on and keeping his economy rolling very well.
Ooh, and we can see a lot of players trading their stone. That's an interesting move, to be honest. I wouldn't have thought... I mean, yes, the Britons are going to be mining a lot of stone for those slingers. And trading some excess isn't necessarily a bad idea, but nobody's been trading food yet. And because of that, the stone's not going for a very good price.
Chris could definitely trade in quite a bit of his food. To simply also ruin market rates for everyone else. I'll also, you know, gain quite a bit of benefit from it too. Because he's still floating about 6,000 food, well 5,000 now. But still, that's much too much, you know. He doesn't need that much food for anything.
Yeah, he started buying up wood with all that food, which is a very clever move on a map like this. Trying to drive up that wood price is going to be crucial. If the game goes on long enough and that oasis starts getting cut down dry.
And the longer the game goes on, the more advantage the Ptolemy players will have, I feel like, because they will have the catapult and the catapult ships, and they will simply outclass the normal warships the Britons have. So the longer the game goes on, I feel like, yeah, Team 2 will have the bigger advantage then.
Okay, and on top of that we can see Chrst has gone to build up a military colony. That's not a fortress, that's the additional town centre, closer to the wood line there. It's going to give them a better defensive location, but not quite as good as a fortress. However, Borg has just finished his first fortress, and it looks like 2 rams are being produced from it. Camelius might be in trouble here if he doesn't scout that.
And yeah, definitely. He might also be wanting to start make some... Oh yeah, he's already making some sword cavalry. So he's anticipating the rams already. He likely saw the territory change and Borg reach phase 3. So he's anticipating the rams and he's already making preparatory sword cow, which is very good play right now.
Yeah, it looks like Camelius did in fact scout the fortress when it was halfway through completion, so he is going to have knowledge of that. On the other side though, we have Unknown Player has finished his fortress as well. So we've got a lot of forts coming up now, which is exciting for the Britons especially. That's a lot of rams that are going to start getting built. And we've even got a few fortresses up from the Ptolemies players. Chrst hasn't put in the resources for one yet, but it looks like fpre has built a fortress near that oasis line, and it's going to give him some arrow cover from those ships, but it looks like it might be a little far back. I would have liked to see that fortress just to the right of the storehouse there. I think it would have given a lot better cover for his troops.
And Camelius is trying to make a fort, but Borg's rams are arriving just in time to deny that. And Jan Chris is right there too to support Borg's attack. So this could be a very dangerous situation for Camelius, but the sword cow might just save the day. But yeah, they are going over to the rams.
Yeah, there we go.
Back up the rams right now.
And the slingers are still always the fort. The fort just got denied, but the ram, Borg is going to lose a ram for it, but can he make the most of this engagement with Chrst's troops? And it doesn't look like Unknown Player has decided to commit anything to this fight. And Borg is staying. Borg wants to fight this. I think he's got the edge. So let's see how this pans out.
Oh yeah, he definitely has the edge right now, but the ram might go down. It should be terrible for him. Oh, but it survives with very little hit points, so that is just quite clutch right there. And Camelius doesn't like that at all.
No, 10 HP ram.
That just sucks for him.
Yep, and he is determined to get that fortress up. He's got another one on the build, and he's got all of his women farmers are trying to build that right now. So his food is going to suffer during this fight. And if he has to pull back, that's not good. Those women won't stand 5 seconds against a hail of sling stones. And it looks like he's pulling back from the fort.
Is finally coming over to help him out. It's more than 100 troops right now. So that will be some great reinforcements from him. Yeah, Camelius is still holding it himself alone too. So yeah, Unknown Player's help will definitely change the tide in this fight, I feel like. Actually, Borg is bringing over even more units. So this will be pretty close.
Yeah, this is going to be a close fight, and Borg has the advantage of being able to produce his troops very close to the fight itself. And Borg's also got his hero out. It looks like he's gone for Knobelin. Knobellin's a pretty interesting hero, giving a bonus HP healing rate to all nearby troops, so it's going to allow his troops to stay in that fight just a little bit longer, which might be all he needs.
And on the other side, we can see some fighting breaking out too. fpre has a few war elephants ready, he has plenty of slingers. And yeah, Boudica is sending troops over, but Legendz isn't helping though right now, so he might be up for a 1 versus 2. Yeah, he might just simply get outnumbered here, so he will have to play more defensively, I think.
Yeah. In the meantime, it does look like Legendz is using at least... Oh, is Boudica going to micro that warship away in time? Maybe not. Boudica might lose a warship to the slingers here, but that's still causing a lot of casualties, and I think Legendz has really missed out. Oh, it's gonna... Is it gonna get away? 18 HP? 13? Oh, 13 HP, and the warship makes it out. Legendz just a little bit one man too low to take that warship out of the fight.
Now it's 1-for-1 now. Borg's ram survives with 10 hit points, and now Boudica's ship survives with 13 hit points. So I guess could be karma right there too. But yeah, fpre is getting pushed back right now. And Legendz really doesn't have enough troops to help him much. He lost way too many units to the ships of Boudica.
And it looks like Borg is trying... Borg has got 3 rams, but they're not going to try and go in and deny that fortress. He has to protect his own towers from unknown players' rams coming in. And without more support from Chrst, it looks like Borg is going to have to pull back. He's garrisoning his temple. He's getting that fortress garrisoned as well, trying to heal up those troops ready for round 2. But Chrst is going to have to pull some serious defense forward. Because unknown player has committed quite a lot here. Yeah,
definitely. Unknown player is also setting up some trade behind the scenes. On the other side, fpre is still being pushed, but he is holding. So he is about to break, I think, right now. Could be the breaking point for him. The other side with Borg isn't looking out too great either. Team 2 could be about to collapse right now.
Yeah, it looks like this might be, if they can't hold on here, this could be the turning point of the game. Legendz has only sent a token force. It doesn't look more than 20 slingers there to try and help our good fpre from that fight against Boudica and Legendz. And if, you know, if Legendz doesn't commit more, yeah, it might be a player down soon.
Yeah, the elephant from fpre is just slightly out of position. It can't defend the catapult ram. But yeah, it does finally get in range and it can try and take out one of the rams. But yeah, the elephant is very wounded, though it will still fulfill its purpose, I think.
However, the elephant has now been engaged by Cunobelin, but the focus fire is going in on him, and it looks like Cunobelin, the hero for Legendz, has fallen, so those troops are going to lose their healing aura. Especially whilst those catapults continue to do work on those rams. And it looks like another ram is going to go down to the catapult shot. It's on 27 life. No, looks like 2 rams are going to escape that fight. And another one's going to get in top of the siege catapult and kill it. So a good fight for Legendz here. And fpre is going to need some serious help very soon. Whereas Chrst and Borg...
Borg is slowly losing his civic center too. So he did take out quite a lot of units from Camelius, an unknown player who's standing under the fortress and the tower at the same time. But, oh, the rams will actually go down just before, unless he forgets about the second ram, which he doesn't. Well, the civic center stays up. But yeah, they are definitely outnumbered by a lot right there. And yeah, this could be very bad for them.
Yeah, an unknown player is just putting on the pressure, sending even more troops in. Looks like he's moving them further south towards the wood line, where Borg has concentrated a lot of his economy to try and restore his position. We might see Borg starting to build more barracks behind his town centre to try to recover.
Yeah, and Boudica sending a few of his ships towards that area could be huge as well, because Chrst and Borg have all their units just in range. So that could take out plenty of units from them too. But yet the ships right now seem to be simply forgotten about pretty much entirely.
In the meantime, we can see Boudica's building more forts back at their base. Boudica and Legendz seem to have pulled back from the engagement, with fpre and leaving him alone for now, but heavily wounded by that assault. A quick population count whilst there's a pause. Unknown players on 170, but that's constantly changing due to that fight on the right hand side of the map. Camelius at about 130, Boudica at about another 170, and Legendz at about 160. So Team 1 still has fairly high population counts despite all the fighting.
And yeah, surprisingly, Team 2 is only about 20 units behind population-wise. Looking at the minimap, it definitely does look, you know, like it's much worse. Yeah, population is surprisingly close.
Ooh, and we're seeing quite a lot of capturing going on with Camelius's troops. He started to focus, he focused down at barracks and managed to capture that, and now he's going for a couple of houses. But Borg is nowhere close to being pop-capped here, so taking a few houses isn't going to make such a difference. However,
about to send the ship over to Chris woodline, and the ship is getting a few kills on the woman. And if Chris doesn't notice that soon enough, he could lose quite a lot of the women there, which will ruin his population's wood income too.
Yeah, he's got about 20 odd woodcutters there. Looks like the rest of Borg's army seems to have moved south. They might try and take out that warship. In the meantime, unknown players getting a temple up on Borg's borders and bringing some more rams in. But Borg is not going to give up. He's got 4 rams now. Maybe he's going to try and sneak them in and deal with Camelius's fort, but you can't just take out the fort, you've got to take out the army as well, and that army, that's pretty big right now.
Yeah, and Borg is making some more barracks behind his civic center, which he hasn't even fully repaired. I think really get on that right up before the rams get there, so that there's a higher likelihood of the civic center surviving the attack.
Interestingly enough, Legendz has actually managed to get a dock up on the Oasis, and he's built a warship, so it looks like Legendz is going to try and start contesting the central water, but I think his priorities might be a little wrong. I don't think contesting the water is going to do much when, you know, fpre is under heavy assault from Legendz, and Borg is just getting torn apart by Camelius and unknown player there. The water isn't going to save them.
Yeah, definitely, he might just be getting that dock to protect their future wood income. So right now you can see that fpre and his own wood income are right borderline, which is in danger of being attacked by the ship, so that might be some more protection for their very exposed wood lines right now, which consist mostly of women. fpre is making some quite weird walls right there too, by his civic center. Has some stone walls, got some palisades there. And Legendz is doing the same thing, he is making some palisade walls. I find this actually quite interesting. Not sure why they are doing that right now.
It's going to help a lot to try and just stop any future troop movements towards them. You know, a counterattack like this, fpre is just popped 4 elephants out of his fortress, and it looks like he's going to go on the offense. Let's see if those 4 elephants can make the difference in this fight, because Legendz is starting to lose that ranged combat there. He's starting to bleed slingers, and those war elephants might get in on that barracks and really turn the tide of production.
Yeah, and Legendz will be reliant on Boudica helping him out right now, because his population isn't looking out too great. And fpre plus Boudica have a very strong force of slingers right here. So yeah, Boudica's help will be utterly important right now in this fight. But if Boudica simply sent a few units right over to the wood line, that could be so deadly, so strong, because they are only women there collecting wood. Oh boy, if only they noticed that and actually sent some raiding units there.
Well, let's take a look at Boudica's. Boudica's vision is just slightly out, just ever so slightly. You know, one spearman or something just starts to chop a tree a bit too close. Oh, he can start to see them. One spearman's got aggroed by the tower. Is Boudica going to realise that and see all those women woodcutting there?
Oh, that could be so bad for fpre and Legendz right there, because this is their, you know, this is, you know, their base of everything that's going well. They rely on the wood so much, and losing these women will be, well, pretty much the end of their main force so that they can't use it anymore.
Well, I think losing the women is the last of Team 2's worries because Borg's town centre just went down. That's right, unknown players Rams just got in under it, and despite all of Chris Slinger's trying to hold them back, it wasn't enough. And Borg's TC is down. He's going to have to get another one up soon, or else he's going to start losing loyalty on all those buildings.
But luckily, actually, his buildings are connected to chrstgtr's territory. And because Chris does have his civic center standing up, Borg's building loyalty doesn't decay right now. So destroying a few of the buildings which connect his fort to the rest of the, Chris territory would make the fort's loyalty decay. So that could be a very nice play there too for them to destroy those few houses there.
Yeah, that little pocket of 4 houses, I didn't notice that. So that small little bridge of houses there is all that's keeping Borg's fortress under his control. But control...
It seems like that won't be needed because all the Rams are there, they're destroying the fort. It seems like the houses won't really change much there because the fort and the about to...
Yeah, it looks like the fort's about to go down in a second as well. And in the meantime, Boudica's trying to hold off fpre, who's got those war elephants dangerously close to Legendz, who's getting another temple down next to his TC to just try and stem the tide long enough for his allies to finish off Borg. If they can manage to knock Borg out the game before fpre can make a serious engagement with Legendz, it's probably going to be GG from Team 2 soon.
Yeah, so fpre and Legendz really need to keep that push going because they can't wait. As well, the other side is losing. So the faster they take out, their enemies, take out Lagos and Boudica, the better.
Yeah, I think a lot of these engagements that are going down, Legendz has been very passive this game, and I feel his team has suffered for it. fpre's been trying to hold that left flank pretty much by himself against 2 players, and he's been doing a good job, but, if he had have sent support to fpre, they could have pushed. If he had have sent support to Borg, maybe Borg would still have a fighting chance, but right now, it's looking pretty desperate.
And Boudica has managed to sneak in a ship right on their wood line. fpre notices that and brings women off to the side a bit, but Legendz hasn't noticed that and a few women right there.
Yeah.
It's actually not too important in the end because he didn't lose too many, so he can still come back from that without too much trouble.
An unknown player is just being completely relentless here, chasing Borg all the way to the edge of the map where he's building his next town centre. And just picking off workers where he can. Now, Borg's got enough troops there to stop them, but it's going to be a real nuisance whilst he's getting that TC up.
And he manages to get the civic center up, and the unit should go down. He hasn't noticed them yet. So he's losing a few too many units to simply very few attackers right there. Which isn't something that they really expect from him right now at all.
I think he does notice them. I think he's worried more about getting that market up so he can try and get some more resources to start building troops again. If we look at Borg's resource count, he has got 3,000 food, and food hasn't been traded very much. So he could easily get some more wood, some more stone. I think maybe he's going to try and trade for as much stone as possible and get a fortress up, because that's kind of his last chance.
Yeah, and the other flank seems to be in trouble as well, because fpre and Legendz are getting pushed back. And yeah, fpre doesn't have a lot of population right now. He might be in trouble.
It looks like it's going to be Team 1 taking the lead here. Honestly thought that, with that Ptolemies pick, they might be able to wrest control of the Oasis, but I think this game could have went completely differently if fpre could have got that dock. If he hadn't have had that dock denied by Boudica, they could have had some really strong control over the Oasis here, especially if you look at how much wood has been cut in Lagos's and unknown players' side of the Oasis. There's no wood there anymore. Can you imagine how much control they would have if only they had have got those ships up before Boudica?
And definitely that could have changed the game by a lot. But suddenly Team 2 did prioritize owning the bed as much as they should do. And right now they seem to be paying for it, because while Boudica didn't invest out too much, he still did annoy the wood production. That also, did impact the pace of the game quite a bit, because Team's 2 wood income was, well, idled quite often as well, which did slow down the population, and in the end that also ended up making their fights much harder to win.
Yep, and there it goes. fpre's town center cannot be saved, and Lagos's Rams deal the final blow. And he's now in about the same situation as Borg, and it looks like Team 1's going to continue to push their advantage because his army cannot fight that. It still cannot fight that battle, and recover from such a loss.
The population-wise difference is a bit bigger than 100 units right now. So Team 1 are starting to really get a big lead going, which I think it will be quite hard for them to lose it at this point. The Borg is on population, fpre is on population, chrst and Legendz are the only players who really hold big impact right now from Team 2.
Yeah, chrst is rocking about over 100 slingers right now, fighting off camelius. Camelius is only about 70, and he's almost lost his hero as well, so they'd lose that healing regen if they lose their hero, which is going to make that fight swing in chrst's favor. But whilst he's busy fighting camelius' slingers, Unknown Player has got a plethora of rams just smashing his buildings to the ground.
Oh yeah, and chrst can defend in 2 areas at once, so them splitting up, while it is dangerous, it is also very strong, because chrst has to choose which area to defend against. Where does he attack? And if he chooses one, well, the other one has free reign to annoy and raid elsewhere. Oh yeah, and Unknown Player wants to get the temple captured as well. He might also possibly want to make a civic center somewhere around there to get some map control too near the enemies. Could be quite strong.
Yeah, right now, looks like those rams are just gonna, well, they're knocking a couple of storehouses down, but Unknown Player sees that collection of, oh, he's gonna go for the blacksmith. I was gonna say, Unknown Player can probably see those barracks there, he should probably go for those.
Oh yeah, definitely. And chrst is coming back to try and fight back against him. And Camel seems to be attacking Borg right now. But yeah, he will probably be trying to snipe out the civic center of Borg right here.
Well, he's only got a couple of rams, so maybe Borg can hold that off, but Borg's population is about the same as Camelius' army right now, and Borg's got at least 20 women or so in his economy, so he is outnumbered and outgunned. And without easy access to swordsmen, the Britons really have to rely on their elites to get swordsmen on the field and deal with siege weapons like rams, which makes for a very interesting dynamic in the Britons vs Britons game, which we are seeing here. And nobody's really gone for any elite swordsmen. I would have loved to see Borg with that early fortress. Borg was one of the first players to get a fortress up, just to get, maybe 5 of his elite swordsmen, just to pop them out and deal with rams from Camelius.
I feel like he had to prioritize taking out Camelius early. He felt like he had the advantage there. So he wanted to get the rams early and then pretty much, take him down entirely and make it a 3 versus 4 instead of having a 4 versus 4 right.
It's looking more like a 2 versus 4 at this rate, with fpre's losing more and more control over his base. More and more houses are going down. He's lost a lot of his corrals. His population cap is now 100. So even if fpre can start getting some more barracks and start training some more troops, he's going to have to build a lot more houses. And the Ptolemies have very slow build rate, and trying to build houses whilst people are invading you, that's taking away from your army.
Yeah, and Camelius has cut out Legendz trade route right there with LA cavalry, and he is taking them out and stopping the trading going down between Legendz. I think he might be even trading with himself, or maybe possibly. I think Legendz is trading with himself right there.
Yeah, and it looks like there's not yet. It doesn't even look like Legendz is gonna try and help defend that trade route. I'm surprised Legendz didn't even build a tower or something on the trade route. Mind you, I don't think any of the teams have. which is something I have noticed in 4v4s in the past, is putting some guard towers on your trade route just to deal with a couple of annoying cavalry. It's not the best deterrent, but it does help.
That definitely does help a little bit. Of course, it is best to simply not let enemy even think trade route. By putting on so much pressure, he's afraid to even, look somewhere else than where the fight is going on. Which is something that's really going on right now for chrstgtr because, well, there are a lot of rams right near his civic center. So he does outnumber camelius and unknown players' forces right there. So this attack will be stopped, except the rams should be able to snipe the civic center.
Yep, and the Ptolemies don't have very good access to units that can handle rams. You're kind of looking like using your own war elephants to deal with rams. In this case, Chrst has decided to use siege catapults, which can be a little bit inaccurate against rams, as rams are moving around and the shots might go wide, which it looks like they're doing.
And Chrst just wants to get the hero elephant out of the civic center right before it is destroyed. And Borg kicks in the towel right now, he's giving up.
Yep, Borg.
And it seems to be the end of the match right now. Yep,
looks like it. Camelius' slingers are coming in behind Chrst, and Legendz is the only player of Team 2 who has remained unattacked. But he hasn't been able to, really leverage that advantage. He wasn't raided. He had total economic protection from his flanking players, and he just couldn't really put enough support in for his allies, which could have, again, there's a lot of factors in this game that could have made the difference, and it's hard to pick out one that's the biggest problem for Team 2.
The Legendz trying to fight the ships with units so early on was definitely a big mistake right there. It slowed down his economy a lot. Yeah, right now also calling his economy be all women, which means that he can't reinforce later on if need be. Again, was also a slight problem, though it didn't end up being too bad, I guess. Now the match is over, you can quickly go through the scores, the charts, the statistics, see how everyone did.
And we can see, unknown player! What a score! 9,400 economy, absolute powerhouse for his team.
Yeah, definitely. And Boudica taking the early map control, camelius attacking borg. It let him, set up for success, which is definitely something he did and utilized very well.
And as far as the military score goes, it's nice to see that fpre with 4,000 for his military score, so an excellent KD there. But, you gotta have a good KD to hold on as long as he did against 2 players.
Yeah, definitely. And it's very bad. A very bad showing from Legendz. Only 2,000 military score and 6,000 economy score. He wasn't using his units well at all, which his KD does show off very well. He lost 2 units for everyone he killed. It's not good. It was very bad play, very badly played for him.
Yeah, especially since he trained the same amount of units as Chrst right there. And, he got half the kills of fpre, so really that is very unfortunate for Legendz. I wouldn't say that Legendz was the deciding factor, but there was a lot of things that could have changed that game. But Legendz' performance definitely, it left you wanting. You wanted a little bit more from Legendz, maybe to be a bit more aggressive on the land. Leave the Oasis. Those ships don't matter if your allies are getting killed.
Oh yeah, definitely. And looking at economy score, I'm actually quite surprised to see that camelius' economy was the worst all the time. Yeah, fpre's economy was pretty bad too. Yeah, Borg wasn't looking too great at the end either. Yeah, this is economy score-wise. H was surprisingly even too far ahead from Black, who was Chrst, so their economies were very similar.
Yeah, and looking at the tributes sent and received, Legendz cut more wood than most players in the game. I mean, unknown player just blew everyone out of the water that game. But yeah, Legendz cut more wood than anyone else in his team, and he sent almost the least tributes. If you're not going to get attacked and you're not going to commit troops, at least give your allies resources. I think yeah, that's a real missed a beat there. He did, I think.
Yeah, and I also think fpre played very well. His economy wasn't too great, but he was doing very well military. So that's something which you often see with Ptolemies, because their economy score is, well, they don't need a big economy to keep their military rolling, which is something you could see with fpre and also Chris. As though he trained a lot of units, his economy score was quite a lot under unknown players' score.
Indeed, and as far as the rest of the stats go, map control at its very best. I mean, it's showing that Legendz had the most borders, but at the end of the day, map control was about that center oasis, at least for the early economy lead, and Boudica certainly won out on that. Whether your borders say it or not, those ships held back Team 2 from the center of the oasis very well.
And yeah, definitely, I feel like Team 2's main mistake was not prioritizing the wire and letting Team 1 simply take all the wood without any, attacks, without any effort to stop them from taking the wood freely. I think was the biggest mistake from the Team 2 players.
Well, a very nice game overall. I think we got to see some really strong play from all the players for the most part. Borg and Camelius's early engagements were great micro to watch, and those later team fights really showed off. FPRE had some great tenacity to hold off against two players for that long, and even pushed back for some of the game as well.
Oh yeah, definitely, but in the end, both sides ended up falling. But in the end, it was some fairly good balance, it was good play from both sides. I feel like, both sides played it honored, no one really abused anything. It was a fun match to watch, and also I assume play for the players as well.
Yeah, a good game all around, and, well, if that's the quality that, well, aside from the technical issues on our part, if that's the quality of games that we get, then this league is, I mean, it's already been very good from the previous games that I've watched, but for future games, I think it's only going to get better.
Oh yeah, for sure, as all the players get, warmed up, not afraid of the stage fright. I think the matches will keep on getting better. And also probably keep on getting more interesting, challenging the players' skill sets a bit more too. So it will be interesting to see how the players adapt and how well they do in the future.
Indeed, I'm certainly going to keep an eye out for next Sunday game. I'll be hanging out in the chat, checking that out. Sorry for the slow start again. I've had a bit of a heavy day myself, but this is a great way to come back and relax after that kind of commitment.
Oh yeah, definitely, and we will see you all then later in the next week's Sunday Pro Games League. See y'all.
Yep. See you guys around. I'm looking forward to seeing who's going to take my place as the next commentator for this great series.
Yeah. It will be interesting to see who is still even left over to commentate these games, man. There have been a lot of people, like different people commentating and all that stuff.
Well, whether you get a co-commentator or not, I think you'll be able to handle it by yourself.
Oh, thank you, man.
Rightio. Well, since that's the end of this Sunday Pro League game, I will be calling it here. So for everybody watching over on Valir's channel, I hope you had a good time. And if you're wondering who he was talking to, it's been me, Chaff Commander Coffee, an old player. I haven't played 080 in a while, but it's been real good fun to see the community and how it's come along in the time that I've been away. The development is just incredible. I can't wait to see the next version come out. I'll definitely come back and give it a bash. And being able to commentate for the series has been a privilege.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So for the rest of you guys, for the players, for Valih here, and all you guys listening in chat or who've been watching the game in Valir's channel, hope you've had a good time. I certainly have. But with all good things, there must be an end, and so I'll be leaving now, and I'll see you all around later. Probably for the next game. You'll see me in chat.
Bye bye.
See you around, Valor.
See ya, man.